reading from Paul's letter to the church in Rome. Chapter 8, beginning with verse 12. It seems like a very long reading, and I probably should split it up, but I'm just going to read it all. So then, brothers and sisters, we are debtors not to the flesh to live according to the flesh. For if you live according to the flesh, you will die. But if by the Spirit you put to death the deeds of the body, you will live. For all who are led by the Spirit of God are children of God. For you did not receive a spirit of slavery to fall back into fear, but you received the spirit of adoption. When we cry, Abba, Father, it is that very Spirit bearing witness with our spirit that we are children of God. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ, if in fact we suffer with him, so that we may also be glorified with him. I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory about to be revealed to us. For the creation waits with eager longing for the revealing of the children of God. For the creation was subjected to futility, not of its own will, but by the will of the one who subjected it in hope, that the creation itself will be set free from its bondage to decay, and will obtain the freedom of the glory of the children of God. We know that the whole creation has been groaning in labor pains until now, and not only the creation, but we ourselves, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, groan inwardly while we wait for adoption, the redemption of our bodies. For in hope we were saved, and now hope that is seen is not hope, for who hopes for what is seen? But if we hope for what we do not see, we wait for it with patience. Likewise, the Spirit helps us in our weakness, for we do not know how we should pray. But that very Spirit intercedes with sighs too deep for words. And God, who searches the heart, knows what is the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for the saints according to the will of God. The word of the Lord. I remember in the 1980s, statistics came out that said 96%, I think that was the number, that was the statistic, 96% of all American families were dysfunctional. Do you remember that? In my cynical self, I believed that that was pretty much a ploy to get a lot more business for clinical psychologists. You know, kind of like the yellow pages and TV ads got all that business for the personal injury lawyers. That was funny. Paul, in his letter to the Romans, has decided to use this image of Christians, of the people who have declared their allegiance to the Christ, being children of God. Now, you've all heard that saying all your life, and so everybody goes, yeah, we're the children of God. We are a family. And when I think about the statistics of dysfunctional families, I go, wow, you know, the church, family, dysfunctional. Yeah, to a certain extent. The image of adoption for us is one that doesn't make us feel happy or secure. It is not a word for us that is a happy word. But to the church at Rome, that word means something else. How many of you remember seeing that wonderful movie, Ben-Hur? Oh, come on. Ben-Hur! 1959, Charlton Judah ben-Hur was a Jewish man, and he was sentenced, we know, unjustly to serve on a Roman slave ship. It was a warship, and as luck would have it, the warship that he is on, and he's rowing on, it is rammed by another warship and is sinking, and as luck would have it, Charlton Heston manages to save, Judah ben-Hur, manages to save his own life and that of Jack Hawkins, who happens to be a Roman general on the ship. And when Jack Hawkins returns to Rome as a lauded hero and stands before the emperor, a lauded hero, and is cheered by hundreds of people in great crowds, the man with him, now dressed in glorious robes, is Judah ben-Hur. And the Roman general, whose name is Quintus Arrius, makes a decision to adopt Judah ben-Hur as his son. And he adopts Judah ben-Hur and names him now Quintus Arrius, with all the rights of a Roman citizen and with all of the lavish possessions of this Roman general now poured out and bestowed upon this young Quintus Arrius, who will be the heir to the general's fortune. This is a very familiar image to Romans, because this was a practice of Romans. If you had no heirs, and how many Roman generals probably had lots of heirs? They were busy doing the war thing. He had no heirs. He adopted an adult male to be his heir. And this was a practice among the Gentiles. It was not a practice among the Jews. However, this is something that Paul is very much aware of. As a Roman citizen, he is aware that this is a practice. He uses an image that the Romans will understand. He uses an image of adoption that is to bring to them a picture of lavish love. They are being lavished as heirs to God's family, as members of God's family. They are being lavished with the glory of being a member of that family. Romans understand that. You and I, in this